Alright, so we're checking out a new quad here, a new micro from Flywoo, the Firefly Baby Nano 20. New motors on this one. These are going to be popular, I think. These are called 1002 size. So we've seen this before. I think RC and Power sent me some. I haven't actually made videos on all of their motors yet, but that was for a 75mm setup on 1S. This one here is 15,500 kV and is for a 2S setup, so they sent some 2S batteries. I'll show you here those in a moment. But yeah, this here on 2-inch props, this motor on this kV I think is the sweet spot, and I think they found it for this motor size. It's actually very good at acro and very fast, so it's going to be, I think, an interesting class, I think, for the future. If you're into like micro flying, racing, and freestyle, this is a really good setup here, and definitely way better than 1S. But new frame here. You got basically bracing all around. So on my calipers here, it shows up as 1.7mm thick. So I guess 1.5mm thick in the product page. The motors have the standard 3 screw, I think these are M1.4, 1.6 size screws. So obviously the same sort of size as the 0802s. That's where this bell size comes from. It's a little bit, basically it's a 0802 but a wider bell and a bigger stator, which gives it a lot more performance and power. Got these Gemfan 2-inch bi-blade props, and they're press-on props onto a 1.5mm shaft. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of complaints about that in the comment section, but they do seem to be set in properly. So the prop is all the way down to the base of the motor bell, so not as likely to bend. I did have a fair number of crashes. You can see here on the prop blades I've done quite a lot of crashing, but I haven't changed the props and hasn't affected the tune hardly at all. Still flies very smooth. The box, you get a all-in-one flight controller board there, 25.5mm whoop size. On the bottom, I think this is a new one I haven't seen before. It's an F4 or 5 based flight controller there with the vertical micro USB port. It's got like 6 UARTs. It's got a built-in, it's not an SPI, it's a built-in Express LRS receiver, but it's not SPI. It's using one of the UARTs, but it's built into the board as far as I can tell. And you can see it's got a T-style antenna here and a micro FL connector on the flight controller. So the I guess SPI receivers are getting out of favor, and this is probably the future for built-in Express LRS receivers. And I'm hoping that I can get some more of those boards for some other builds. I think it's only up to 2S. The EACs are 12 amps. They're BLE-S. And so I think it's just 1 or 2S, and 2S is the max as far as I'm aware on that board. And it is an F4 or 5. It does have the MPU 6000 gyro, so I don't know how many more of those they're going to be producing before they switch over to the BMI 270. And of course, the PID tune is going to change at that point. Obviously, the MPU 6000 is already discontinued, as you know. Who knows how much longer that'll be around. The video transmitter is one of those triangle ones. I think it's the Goku something. It's a V2 version, 25 to 450 milliwatts of power. Micro FL connector there, and you have your circular polarized antenna here on the back. This is a Flywoo Atom RC antenna. Got this TPU canopy holding this Nano Cam V2 now. It's basically like a tiny nano camera. The field of view on this one is okay for racing. For freestyle, I wish it was a little bit wider and a vertical field of view, but maybe you could probably swap that out on your own at some point in the future. But yeah, it's an okay camera. The dynamic range is just okay. It's not an amazing camera like some of the other ones out there. I actually would have rather seen maybe the Baby Ratel, but that's going to be pretty heavy. So they obviously went with this camera for the lightweight. And I'll talk about that, the weight of this in a second. And you can see here the build quality is quite nice. You got soldered on motors, no motor plugs. That's probably the way to go for more performance. And yeah, it's built very nicely. Nice wires are all tucked away very nice. You got this battery tray here, and you can see on the TPU it is etched as a 420. And I got 2 batteries. I'll show you that here in a second. XT30 here on the bottom. That's probably the way to go for 2S. And yeah, the batteries they sent on here are kind of obviously from Flywoo. 420 milliamp hour 2S. It's not marked on here whether it's a high volt or not, but I charged it up as a high volt, so my flight times are based on that. Same with the larger battery here. They sent along a 750, but also you get a different TPU mount for that. So basically these just go in the bottom, and you can rotate them to twist them in and out. So that's, if you want to switch it out to the bigger battery, you can do that. Just basically twist out the old one. It's easier to twist it out with the battery in there. So put the battery in, then you can twist it out, and also the same way, because it's so flexible with the battery not in there, it's too hard. It won't actually mount. So put the battery in to the mount, and then you can take the mount on and off the quad by twisting it. Rotate, basically going 90 degrees, and then you rotate it. And flight times for these, of course, it depends on how aggressive you're flying. So for more aggressive flying, roughly 3.5 minutes of flight time on the 420. If you're flying very casually, not very aggressive, you can probably stretch it out to closer to 5 minutes. So same thing on the 750. It's a lot heavier. And so the flight time in this one, I was getting roughly 5-ish minutes on more aggressive flying, but the aggressive flying was not as great for this battery. I would recommend using this for cruising around if you're looking for maximum flight time. And so for less aggressive flying, you're going to get closer to 7.5 to 8 minutes on this battery. So I would use this one for flight time and use this one for racing or acro. Alright, so here's how much the quad weighs. No battery, 34.7 grams, and with the 420, we're coming in at 56.2. And then we'll take this mount off of here. And with the 750, it's quite a bit heavier. It's 69.6, and that affects the performance. So this come in different versions. Obviously, this is the analog version, the classic version. It does come in an HD0 version, a Vista version, and a Walksnail version. So they sent along some prop guards here. So these prop guards will work with the 3-hole mount as well as the 4-hole mount on different quads. Obviously, for 2-inch drops. So these are the ones that were on the Venom. And it looks like they included screws here. Yeah, they have the smaller screws for the smaller 1002 motor, and also the bigger screws if you're running it on the 4-mount motors, M2 screws. So that's cool. So you got these different colors of prop guards, gray, and then we have red and yellow, but then they gave me some different canopies here. So this one here is the Vista canopy with the yellow prop guards, so you can swap out the canopy. And this will hold I guess I'll mount for a Vista. So I'm not sure if I'll swap anything out for a future build or not. I'll have to see. Let me know in the comments. It's going to take some time for that. And then this one here is HD0, and it's red. So if you have the HD0 video transmitter and camera, you can swap that out. And then I don't have the Walksnail yet, but I am told that they're going to send me the Walksnail 1 to 2S video transmitter camera along with the updated canopy, and I will have a future video on that, on this model. I'll convert this to Walksnail and have a future video on that one as well. I'll have a separate video just on the video transmitter by itself. I think that's I think it's worth having a video just for that, and then I'll have one with the video transmitter on this quad for a performance review in the future. Now I do want to note that this is for the first batch. It's going to be on sale. There's going to be a discount code down in the video description. I don't know exactly when it's going to expire. They'll let me know, and then I'll add that to the video description. I believe it's going basically for people that are early adopters are going to get this on the first batch. You'll get like a pretty good discount. Again, that discount code and the amount of the discount and the expiration date will be down in the video description. They just let me know about that, but I didn't get the details yet. I'll put that down in the video description. So as I mentioned, the performance of this I thought was hands down way better than any of the ones with the 75mm props that were running on 1S. Obviously, bigger prop, 2S performance is going to be far superior, even though it is heavier. And so if you're looking for something really small like this, and you want like more performance, more speed, more accurate ability, I would get this one over any of the 1S ones that you've seen in the past, but that are 75 millimeters. It is a little bit louder, but it's not loud enough where you're going to be attracting a lot of attention. I've flown this at a park where there were some people, they didn't say anything to me at all. Of course, there was no kids or anything around playing on the playground. They were over kind of off on the side under the, I think it was like a canopy or something. They're sitting down. So no one bothered me. So, you know, if you're worried about that kind of stuff, this is still probably going to be okay because it's not that noisy and it's not going to attract a lot of attention, but it is a lot more fun in my opinion. Pit tune on this one was pretty good. Again, mine came with the MQ6000 gyros, so if they switch out the gyro later, all bets are off, I guess. In my opinion, the BMI 270 is still pretty good, especially with the new filtering in Betaflight 4.3, although this one here came in Betaflight 4.2.8, so another thing to keep in mind. I think when they do switch this over to the BMI 270, which I'm sure they will eventually, they're probably going to update this to Betaflight 4.3, so something to keep in mind. So another thing to note here is that you can see on these mounts, they have this hole here for a camera mount for like a Runcam Thumb Pro, maybe a Go 2. So those mounts, they did not send that to me. I will probably get them for the next video. So if you're wondering how this will perform with a HD camera, obviously it's going to add more weight. The weight of that camera is going to depend on which one it is. And it will probably have an effect on performance. So I would say if you're going to be running an HD camera like one of those on here with that mount, probably go for the bigger battery. You're going to get more flight time. And you're probably, you know, for an HD camera, you're probably not looking to race it with it. So I'm thinking, you know, more cinematic flying, casual flying, just to capture some nice video. Go with the bigger battery, of course. I will test that in the upcoming video later when I get those mounts. I do not have those yet, so be on the lookout for that in a future video. Alright, so that's going to do it for this one. What do you guys think of this new model? 2-inch props, 2S setup on this 1002 motor. Definitely, I think they found the sweet spot on this one. I like the performance of this one quite a lot. Hopefully we'll see more types of models of this sort of, you know, design, I guess this type. More of the 2S on the 2-inch prop and the 1002 motor from some other vendors. I'm pretty sure this will get copied pretty quickly because I think they found the sweet spot in terms of the right motor for the right size quad and right prop. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.